his name? Yep, no, 7 o'clock. We all could rise for the pledge, please. Milano, could you lead us in the pledge, sir?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for the men and women in the armed forces, first responders, those fighting the good fight in Ukraine, those suffering from the military conflict in the Middle East, our veterans as well. Also in memorial for Senator Lindsey Graham and for the unfortunate officer that passed, as well as the Milford resident in that awful crash that happened this morning. May their memories be eternal. Thank you. American Creed. Katie, can you lead us in the Creed, please?
The American's Creed by William Tyler Page. I believe in the
United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed,
a democracy and a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all
enemies, foreign and domestic.
Thank you. And Diane, before we go to public comment, a couple things I would like to address to the public that's meeting here tonight, as well as to those that are watching this evening. We celebrated America's 250th, which was totally amazing, and I know we have Ms. Norcross here that will talk about the wonderful job that the America 250 subcommittee, plus the Daughters of the American Revolution, signing of the declaration that the public did, which we're inviting everyone, which is great. And that leads to something that I'd like to address the public here tonight. Is our forefathers for our country believed in freedom, believed in equality, but also believed in civility. And I'm going to address that tonight. First is kind of a lesson in really what does the town council do? So I've had a lot of people ask me, really, what does the town council do? Well, the town council, let me grab my little bit of notes here. And this is according to our charter. The town council, and this is chapter 4 and section 401, right, Randy? We're going to talk about what the powers and duties are first of the town council. The town council shall have all powers and duties here and thereafter conferred upon said town council and all board powers and duties which, on effective date of this charter, were conferred by law upon boards of selectmen, except as otherwise specifically provided in its charter. The town council shall have the power to enact, amend, and repeal ordinances which may be introduced by any of its members or by the mayor, provided the same are consistent with the provisions of this charter, the Connecticut general statutes, the state and federal constitutions as determined by the town attorney, and may recommend to the town meeting the creation, consolidation, or abolition of boards, commissions, departments, and administrative offices. The town council is authorized in adopting ordinances, incorporate any nationally recognized code, rules or regulations which have been published, or any code officially adopted by any administrative agency of the state, or any portion thereof by reference thereto in such ordinance, provided that upon the adoption of any such ordinance, wherein any such code, rules, or regulations, or portions thereof may be incorporated by reference, there shall be maintained 2 copies of such code, rules, and regulations in the office of the town clerk for examination by the public. Nothing herein shall be construed to prohibit the town council from appointing by resolution, special or temporary boards, commissions, committees, as it may be from time to time deemed necessary and appropriate to the operation of the town government. In such event, said special or temporary boards, commissions, or committees shall be deemed to terminate 1 year after their creation, except that the town council may extend separate temporary boards, commissions, or committees prior to its termination date for a period not to exceed an additional 6 months. The town council may contract for services and the use of facilities with the United States government or any branch thereof of any federal agency, the state of Connecticut, or any agency, political subdivisions thereof, or may, by agreement, join with any such political subdivisions, provided services and facilities in accordance with the applicable provisions of the state of Connecticut general statutes. The town council may fix any charges to be made for services rendered by the town or for the execution of powers vested in the town as provided in Chapter 1 of this chapter unless otherwise prohibited by law. If at any time during a fiscal year the town council shall ascertain that revenue from the cash receipts for the year is likely to be less than the total appropriations, it may reconsider the programs, expenditures, allocations of departments, offices, and agencies, and revise the allocations of departments, offices, agencies, so as to avoid or forestall the incurring of a deficit. Section 406 would be public hearing and publication of ordinances. Section 408, power of initiative, ordinances proposed to the town council. Section 409, power to overrule ordinances adopted by the town council. That's pretty much all that's in the charter. Am I correct, Randy?
It is.
And the reason why I bring that up tonight is that's the powers of the town council. So when people come and address the town council about national issues, it has absolutely nothing to do with this town council and what it does. That's not the venue for that type of speech. That venue is better done to a congressional office or a state or a senator's office. Or if it applies to a state statute, you can talk to your state representatives or your state senator. I'd also like to bring up, also within the charter, all meetings of the town council for the transaction of business, this is in procedure, section 404. All meetings of the town council for the transaction of business shall be open to the public when in session, and all regular meetings, now this is where it gets important, shall afford to provide for the electors of the town an opportunity to address the town council with suggestions, petitions, and complaints in accordance with the rules of procedures adopted by the town council, provided that the extent permitted in Chapter 3 of the Connecticut General Statutes, the town council may meet in executive session, closed to public when so voted by 2/3 of the town council members present and voting. And the reason why I bring that up, ladies and gentlemen, those are watching here too, it is by the town council, right? They're wanting to hear from people, but it is at the leisure of the council that people that do not live in New Milford have the ability to address the town council. Is that correct, Randy?
That's correct.
And the town council has done that because we want to hear from people. But with that comes responsibility. And responsibility is civility. And as I am mayor and chairman, right, and preside over the town council, civility will hold. People may not know what civility is, so let me tell you. According to the Institute of Local Government, civility. In the context of democratic debate, civility is about how people treat each other. Civility involves display of respect for those who have positions which one disagrees. Even though disagreement plays a necessary role in governance and politics, the issue is how one expresses that disagreement. The key is to focus on the strengths and weaknesses of the proposed solutions to community problems, not to engage in personal attacks against those who favor different solutions. An even more powerful leadership strategy is to listen for the concerns and values that underlines people's diverse perspectives and try to identify points of agreement and common ground. So it talks about how we do that. With rights come responsibilities. Avoid debates and interruptions, as we're hearing from our public. Reduce uncertainty, assuring people they will be allowed to share their views. The importance of the council listening, which we all should do. And then the big one is be compassionate about the fear factor. Heckling and applause are not allowed here. And we are going to enforce that. There is to be absolutely no heckling, absolutely no applauding, absolutely no eyes rolling. I will ask you to leave. Polls suggest people fear public speaking. I know a lot of people that do. If this fear can come from concerns of being judged negatively or having ideas that people will ridicule or reject. Allowing cheering and booing and other forms of heckling discourages people from sharing their views. Even silence or no applause can be perceived as a rejection. It also runs the risk that those who do speak will focus more on getting applause than moving the conversation towards addressing difficult issues. Eye-rolling and grimacing can be nonverbal forms of heckling and also have no place in communities that value mutual respect. So I'm putting everyone on notice, those that are watching here tonight, those that may be seeing it on TV, those that are here, or those that may hear it secondhand. We will not tolerate it. We will not be disrespectful to one another. We will be in a professional manner speaking to the town council of things that are pertinent to the council, to the community. If you have a national issue, talk to our senators, talk to our congresspeople. If you have a state issue, talk to the delegation. These personal attacks are stopping as of right now. So I thank everyone for listening to that. And again, we want our residents to come here and express their opinions and their values as it pertains to what we can do here on the town council. If you have a zoning issue, please go to zoning. If you have something for the Board of Finance, if you have something for Zoning Board of Appeals, if you have something there, please go to those boards and address your concerns there as well. So, with that being said, I'd like to move on. I'd like to invite Ms. Norcross up first, talking about America 250 and our wonderful Declaration of Independence. And Mayor Furman, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Heidi Norcross, and I am here on behalf of the New Milford Celebrates America 250 Committee. Heidi Norcross, 10 Silver Birch Road, New Milford, Connecticut. So, good evening, Mayor, members of the Town Council, honored guests, and fellow citizens. On behalf of the New Milford Celebrates America Committee, it is my privilege to present this commemorative Declaration of Independence signed by the people of New Milford. 250 years ago, 56 courageous men pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor by signing our nation's Declaration of Independence. Their signatures represented more than names on parchment. They represented a commitment to the ideals of liberty, self-government, and the belief that all are endowed with certain unalienable rights. Today, while none of us face the sacrifices demanded by our founding fathers, we are entrusted with something equally important: preserving the freedoms they secured and passing them on to future generations. Over the past 10 days, this declaration has been signed by more than 185 residents of all ages from the town of New Milford. These signatures attest a lasting reminder that the principles expressed in 1776 continue to unite us today. Each signature represents an individual who values our shared heritage and recognizes that the story of America is not only one of our past, but also of our future. Together, these names reflect the enduring spirit of civic pride, community, and patriotism that has long defined New Milford. As we commemorate America's 250th anniversary, it is fitting that this declaration become part of our town's history. We hope it serves as a reminder to future generations that in 2026, the citizens of New Milford pause to honor the remarkable legacy of our nation's founding and reaffirm their appreciation for the freedoms that we enjoy. I can envision years from now that when some of today's children are young adults, they will see their signatures and remember celebrating our country's semi-quincentennial. It is with great pride that the New Milford Celebrates America Committee presents this Community Declaration of Independence to the town of New Milford for preservation as a symbol of our shared commitment to the ideals upon which our nation was founded. Thank you, and may God continue to bless the town of New Milford, the state of Connecticut, and the United States of America.
You want people that haven't signed it to sign it?
Yes, so if anybody has not signed it yet, I don't really want to interrupt your meeting, so we can take it out and people can come out and sign, or we can have them sign after the meeting is over. So, okay.
Did you sign it?
Yeah.
Did you sign it?
I did.
Did you? Did you? Let's go sign
Awesome.
it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, will you mind if two of the council people go up and sign it?
Absolutely.
I did.
Anyone else in the audience that hasn't signed it, please come up and sign it. And this will be hanging at Town Hall. And guess where? Roger Sherman's Town Hall.
You're gonna hang it right here?
I'm thinking maybe around here or right out in the hall there. I'm thinking here. You know where I'm thinking?
Nah, we can't hang it there. It's kind of.
Well done, Heidi.
There. I think it's too wide.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Big wide.
I like it.
Tony?
Very much. Yeah, I'll have to take it.
It's a great workaround on that. Because they're not going to be able to revise that statute fast enough. And we got
I already got some of these. I'm gonna hand these out to people. Okay, did everybody get a chance to sign the Declaration of Independence? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Do we have any other public comment? Diane?
We do. We have Sean Delaney. Sean, if you would please go to the podium, state your name, your address, and you have 5 minutes.
Chief, how you doing? Sean Delaney, 8 Prospect Hill Road, New Milford, Connecticut. Chief of Waterwitch Hose Company number 2. As I have done in the past, I'd like to bring you guys up to speed on the half-year mark for our company. At the end of the month of June 2026, the men and women of Waterwitch have responded to 355 calls of service for the year, which is on track to be one of the busiest years yet. Since the 1st of July, this company has responded to 45 different calls, which is increasing and ever so busy. Today we've had 4, as of 6 o'clock tonight. On average, we are averaging 13 firefighters per call. We are also averaging 2 officers per call, which is an amazing and an astounding feat for a company that is fully volunteer. Over the course of the last few years, the mayor and I, along with the West Cog, have talked ad nauseum about the 830G and affordable housing. As everybody is well aware, in the paper in the last few weeks, we have seen over 600 residences starting to come into New Milford. That is going to put a very, very large strain on not only the infrastructure of this town, but the volunteer services that we provide to the town of New Milford. I know that the town has submitted the plan, or is in process of submitting a plan to the state of Connecticut. It is not a town thing. This is coming from the state of Connecticut. As the president of the Litchfield County Chiefs Association, we were very adamant to the actual legislators that this is going to change the topography of each of our towns. And I want to let everybody know that while we are still doing it the same way that we did since 1863, it is going to get very, very busy in this town very quickly. I had talked about this a number of times during our Lanesville presentations. To date, the department has submitted a assistance to firefighter grant for $414,000 for the purchase of new air packs. We are right now in the process of review with the federal government and FEMA for the $414,000 grant, and we're hoping to report back to you in the next few months about it. This will bring brand new SCBAs, or self-contained breathing apparatus, the backpacks that we wear with air in it, to our department, all 43 units. So it's not cheap. But most importantly tonight, I'd like to invite each of you, town council members, the mayor, Mr. DeBella, and the community as a whole. August 9th, we are proud to open up and cut the ribbon for the new Lanesville Fire Station. This amazing planned operation has gone much smoother and much quicker than we ever expected. We are taking control of the facility within the next week. The punch lists are done. We have had operation in the firehouse continuous, uninterrupted through the entire construction. I cannot speak enough about J.A. Rosa and their work there, but I would like to invite you all and the community as a whole to the ribbon cutting, and to come in and see the firehouse and really see what the community has given us, because it is the next step in an ever-growing and ever-changing environment that we have in New Milford. I'd like to thank each of you, the Board of Finance, the Municipal Building Committee, and Zoning and Wetlands, for all you guys have done for us, and really invite you all to come in and take a look at it. It is an absolute amazing feat. So thank you very much, and everybody have a good night.
Thank you, Chief.
What time is the ribbon cutting?
11 a.m. 11 a.m. And we did post it on Facebook.
All right.
Okay, next we have Arthur Hopkins. Arthur, if you could please come to the podium, state your name, address, and you have 5 minutes.
Arthur Hopkins, my address is 18 Cambridge Circle, here in the great town of New Milford, Connecticut. Mr. Mayor, town council members, others, I'd like to discuss the funding to the opioid settlement committee. And first, I'd like to read a short paragraph from my secretary of the New Milford Community Shelter, Rufus DeRom, longtime board member and fellow volunteer, who stated that we, the New Milford Community Shelter, appreciates the recommendation of the Opioid Settlement Committee to donate to the homeless shelter. New Milford first opened a homeless shelter in 2001, and we have had clients from many different walks of life who found themselves homeless. However, one of the prevalent causes of homelessness is addiction in various forms. We thank the Opioid Settlement Committee for recognizing the fact that money spent to support the shelter is going to help folks with addiction issues get back on track. All our coordinators are trained regarding Narcan, and the information is passed on to the numerous volunteers who support us. This is an appropriate use of the opioid settlement funds, and we appreciate Tony and the committee's support. Thank you so much. My own remarks. Good evening. Again, my name is Arthur Hopkins. I'm the president of the New Milford Community Shelter. I've been a volunteer since 2002, so I've got a number of years under my belt. I'm ready to retire. But our shelter is opened solely by volunteers, and that's how it's operating. I just want to extend my heartfelt thanks for the recommendation to donate funds by the Opioid Settlement Committee to our shelter. We have had clients from many walks of life who, for one reason or another, have fell on hard times. As you can assume, we have had folks who were alcoholics, some with mental illness, drug addicts, and some who maybe through no fault of their own have ended up in our shelter. Hopefully, we might have made a small positive difference in their life by keeping them safe and warm during our winter months. We have been in operation since around 2001. During COVID, we had to shut down for a couple of years, but at the request of the mayor in late 2023, we reopened the following year. With this funding, it will enable us to procure additional supplies, help defray heating costs that we give back to the churches that we use as shelters, help pay for insurance and for other expenses. Again, thank you so much as I speak on behalf of our entire board. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Coach Tony Morris. Name, address, and 5 minutes. Thank
Hey,
you.
gang. Tony Morrissey, Mine Hill Road, New Milford. Hi, friends. Good to see you again. I'm going to be back up in a couple of minutes to talk a little bit more about some of the other things we have from the Opioid Settlement Committee. The reason why I wanted to make public comment was really to thank the folks at the New Milford Shelter, Art and Rufus. What they've done over the last 20 some odd years is nothing short of saving lives. And I thank you guys for considering the proposal we have on the table tonight to help that program. I volunteered over the winter. I came and I talked about it a little bit with the town council. Having gone through that experience and touched that program and worked with the volunteers that put that on, I can tell that it's led by compassion and heart. And I'm proud of this town, right, for having a program like that. So really just wanted to say thank you to those folks who have been involved for as many years as you have been involved. You guys are what we call hope dealers, and we thank you for your work. And additionally, I wanted to remind everybody, another invitation, our 6th annual Awareness 5K and Recovery Festival is happening on Saturday, August 29th. We invite everybody on the town council to please come down and join. Again, it's the same as every year. Mr. Murphy, you know how it goes, right? We start off with a 5K in the morning down at Youngsfield Road. It's a down and back. It's a very simple. It's not just a run, it's a walk. It's really an awareness thing. I really would love for everybody to participate. Our goal this year is to be 250 participants in the 5K. When we're done with that, everybody comes up to the town green, the most beautiful town green in all of Connecticut, of course, and really just enjoy the music, the keynote speakers. Mr. Bass, I hope you'll join us again this year as you do every year. We thank you for that. I'd actually like to invite Mr. Rosenberg, who's not here tonight, to also attend. We have a couple of particular missions for you guys. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, the day is free. It includes a bunch of activities for the kids, bouncy jumpies, magic shows, face painting, all kinds of great stuff for kids like my grandkids who are walking around without a parent. Right? It's a forum. It's a place for these kids to connect. It's a place while they're doing that and having fun for parents and grieving families to find resources. It's a place where we have recovery advisory services like MCCA, CCAR, Lantana, a bunch of different providers in the area. Greenwoods, they're giving Narcan out, showing people how to use Narcan, talking about programs, beds, detox centers, right? We're gonna put a spotlight on the conversation and really just continue to drive that number down. In New Milford, Mr. Bash, you probably can attest to this, we are the leader in the state We're the leader in the state when it comes to this decline in overdose deaths and responses and things like that. And that's because of the compassion and the heart that this town council and our opioid settlement committee has put into this, and the work that has been done by the great nonprofits and organizations in the community. And I'll say what I always say: awesome work. We're getting there. We're not done yet, so we got to keep going. So please, join us on August 29th, and thank you again for your consideration of the proposals we have coming tonight. Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's get to our agenda. Item 4A, I'd like to move that we approve the prior minutes from, thank you.
And second by Tom. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item 5, I'd like to move that we approve filling a vacancy on our film commission, Michael Boucher. He's an unaffiliated. His term would be July 13th, 2026 to January 31st of 2028.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Mayor?
And Katie, before we go to comments, I would like to ask the council if we could amend the agenda. And I see that the superintendent is here, and I see that the board chair is here. If we could move number 11, which is their request for putting monies into the capital reserve, moved up to now. If we
Okay.
could do that, if that's okay?
I move that
You made a
we,
motion?
amend the
A
agenda.
second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. And
I'd like to move that we put item 11 up underneath
Yep.
item 5.
Okay.
Item 5B, how's that? Everybody okay with that?
And, yep, we
Thank
already
you.
made the motion, so now
Go
we
for it.
go with the discussion and possible action to appropriate $1,964,500 to be out of the Board of Education's capital reserve account to fund the capital items listed on attachment 11A that was in your packets. And I would entertain that motion if someone would like to make that
I
motion.
did.
And Katie made the
I'll move
motion. And
Or Rolando.
second, okay. And we have the superintendent, we have the board of ed chair, Ms. Sarah Chair. Does anybody have any questions on the motion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Next, we're going to
Mayor's
move to mayor's
comments.
comments.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. So first, I'd like to start off, last week, we had our bond and band sale. And speaking with Barry Bernanke as our financial advisor, we had a very good sale. And once again, the town exceeded expectations with not only the number of bids received, but also the very competitive borrowing rates. The town sold $4.3 million of long-term bonds, $4.65 million of short-term notes to finance various improvements to roads and the Lanesville Fire Station. The town received 9 bids for the bonds with the winning rate of 3.37 from UBS Financial Services. This rate was lower than recent sales from the towns of Westport, which was at 3.42, and West Hartford, 3.43, both AAA rated bond towns, same as we are. The town received 8 bids for the notes with the winning bid of 2.66 from Jeffries. The town of Southbury, also rated AAA, recently issued 1-year notes at a rate of 2.89. New Milford was lower by 23 basis points. The town also received a premium of $295,210 on the bonds, $61,938 on the notes, which will be used to mitigate the debt on the new bonds. The town continues to issue debt for capital improvements on a strategic basis that layers the new debt with the amortization of the old bonds that allows annual debt service to remain virtually level. The town's bonds were rated AAA and the notes SP 1+, both of which are the highest possible ratings, as we talked about at the last meeting, higher than, guess what? Nation's sovereign debt.
Really?
Yep. So big congratulations to our town employees, both on the town side, the education side, Also, to our volunteer boards and Olga, who's not here tonight too, for all of her help as well. And kudos to everyone. Next is, I was speaking with Randy last week. We had Northern Construction Service today, or they had, I don't know if people are familiar with the railroad culvert that is on West Street. You may have noticed over the last several years the degradation of that culvert. It's not our culvert, it's the railroads, but it continues to degrade. So much so that Northern Construction, which was the company that is supposed to be doing the work on this, has been very concerned. They were talking about an urgent request to expedite permitting and agency review. That would be done by not only our land use boards, but also inland wetlands, but also it would be by the Army Corps of Engineers, DEEP. That's taken too long. It's taken way too long. We just experienced a lot of rain. Now, you may say to yourself, why does this matter for the town of New Milford? It's the railroad crossing, it's the railroad. So if something happens, there's a railroad. Tracks go down, tracks go down. Well, wouldn't you know, the town's major sewer line for this side of town runs right underneath the culvert. So if that goes down, we have huge problems. Huge problems. So, in so knowing that, and this was done in the, right, Randy, the 1950s? Even probably earlier than that. 1940s was when this line was put in. So diligently, the sewer commission with representation has been working with the railroad, been working with Northern, because we're gonna have to move the pipe, because we have to now, the railroad has to put a new culvert in, and we need to get the pipe out of the culvert so we never have an issue, as if their thing comes down, it doesn't wreck our stuff. Right. So, what we've been waiting on is having the permit process completed by Army Corps of Engineers and by DEEP. We've been working diligently in trying to get those done. It's still taking, as red tape sometimes does, a very long time. We've been monitoring this culvert for quite some time. Jack Healy's felt concerned, especially with the massive amounts of rain that we get all at one time. So I spoke with Jack and also with Randy. I wanted to inform the town council that I did an executive order to help with cutting some of the red tape. This, the culvert is under the auspice of DEP, of the Army Corps of Engineers, and also the railroad is under the auspice of Congress. So, with that being in mind, even though we have an executive order, Northern Construction is like, you can't compel us with your executive order to bypass the permits. So, we're gonna wait for the permits.
You have to.
So, we've asked them to expedite it, hopefully. They're working diligently to do this. I know Randy will talk about it in a moment, but we're trying to put them on notice if something was to happen, that it's on you guys. We've done everything we can to try and help expedite this process. The actual installation of the culvert will probably be 3 days, right, Randy? Be like 3 days. But it's the additional permitting process that's taking quite some time, how we go about doing it. Moving forward, I told Jack that I'll be sending out updates to both you and the public moving forward as we're getting closer now to actual installation. What they did do, I'm going to pass this around. This was a picture that was taken of what it did look like. You could see our pipe, but you could see what the culvert was degrading to.
And the pipe
We did
under that.
we did an emergency repair on this, where they actually shored that up, so we will have some stability within the culvert. But I think it's very important for the public and the council to know that we are working on that, but it unfortunately has red tape to it. Next is a big thank you to the linesmen, both Eversource employees and those contracted. They came out and did the work in last week's storm event. There was over 100,000 Eversource customers statewide that were without power during the storm event. We had well over close to 2,000 at tops that were out in New Milford. And then they continued to chip away at that. We did have some residents that took a couple of days to get power back in some of these areas. But a big, huge thank you to those linesmen. Eversource had stated they were surprised at the strength of the storm. Some of the other towns surrounding us, we were at one point at about 1.9% of all residents of New Milford. They were on Eversource. New Fairfield was over 94%. It was totally without power. Harwington was around that area as well. Torrington took significant damage also. So it was like an all hands on deck endeavor to bring power back. So as I state, when we push these events out, please, we're getting into hurricane season. Please make sure that you've either opted in to notify New Milford, or you have a course where you can obtain communications that we put out, that Eversource puts out. You can always opt into their system too if you're a customer, and they can let you know more stuff internally. And just reminding everyone, if you do have a generator, please make sure it has plenty of fuel. Please make sure the exhaust is outside when and if you do need it. Please make sure, just as a common note between now and the rest of hurricane season, just make sure your electronics are fully charged in case we do have an incident that does knock out power. And what that can mean too is we had that rain that was pretty significant. So, and that rain was something that came down very hard, very fast. So didn't have a chance to really go and settle into the ground. So that came in, and the balls of these trees, they have become loose because of this moisture. We have full tree canopy. So even a wind of 25 miles per hour, even a sunny day like today, can knock trees down or knock large limbs down, which could knock down power. So please make sure that you have your electronics fully charged. Also, these downpours can be flash flooding. We were extremely fortunate the last big storm that we had, that there was talk of us getting several inches of rain, up to 5 inches. That rain actually moved a little more to the north and a little to the south, so we were very fortunate. But that leads to making sure if you have a sump pump in your house, if your house is in an area in a flood zone, please make sure your sump pump is working, and make sure you keep an eye out to make sure that you have a way to get out in case there is an issue. And if there's any water going across the road, do not try and drive through water. Seek an alternative route, because water is very strong and it can push your car places you don't think it's going to go. So please make sure. Want to congratulate Officer Hannah, who is now promoted to lieutenant, and Officer Descalso, who was promoted to sergeant at last week's promotional ceremony. And they are replacing 2 retired officers, and a big, huge congratulations to them. Want to say good luck to Emmy Lim, and she is headed as a wrestler for the New Milford Green Wave. She's competing in the 2026 Fargo Nationals, the U.S. Marine Corps Junior and 16U National Championships. So big, huge congratulations to her, and wishing her the best of luck. Also want to congratulate our newest Eagle Scouts, Oliver Brandell. His brother is already an Eagle Scout, so 2 brothers Eagle Scouts. That's pretty amazing. Big thank you to Scout Troop 158, Scoutmaster Hotchkiss. They allowed me to present a certificate to the new Eagle Scout, which is very nice. I appreciate that. And State Representative Buckby brought one from the state legislature as well. Also want to thank Scoutmaster Peloso, as he talked about what it's like to be an Eagle Scout, to be an Eagle, and Scoutmaster Norcross, who is Heidi Norcross's husband, for presenting the Troop 158 medicine bag. So each Eagles that are from 158 put something in the bag, and then during the Court of Honor, they talk about all the stuff that's in the medicine bag, so that's pretty cool. Also, wanted to thank the New Milford Youth Agency as they had a kind of teen concert that was here on Saturday night at the bandstand. It was great to see all the youth that was there. Great music by New Milford band called Pentamore, all New Milford High School alumni. It was great to see all the people there. Big thank you to Maria Leo and Brian Hembrook of the Youth Agency for putting that on. And it's great to see all the young people out and about. As we all know, or most of us know, health insurance is super important for all of us. For those that don't have health insurance, Access Health, which is the state, helps with making sure that everyone that wants health insurance can get health insurance. We have representatives from there that comes to Pettibone. And there's an opportunity. You can go to the social services website, the mayor's website, or Access Health, and you can make your own appointment, schedule a time to listen to an actual representative to see what best health insurance is for you. There's lots of choices, and these experts will help you compare plans, answer your specific questions, and ensure you enroll in the right plan for you and your family. So please make sure, if you don't have health insurance, this is a great opportunity to check out. This may be right for you. We want to make sure that everybody has the ability for health care. It's so important. New Milford Youth Baseball and Softball Fall Ball registration is now open. Also, they just started this past year called Buddy Ball. And what is Buddy Ball, you may ask?
I may.
Okay, so Buddy Ball is you have people with special needs, children or neurodiverse, and they play with a regular player, and they play a game of baseball. So it's called Buddy Ball. So a big, huge thank you to the Milford Youth Baseball and Softball for bringing that to New Milford. And for those young athletes that are really showing those that may have not played baseball, how wonderful that game is. So if you want to register your child there, please go to their website and register. Also, Katie, did you know New Milford Green Flag Football also has open registration?
Yes, I do.
As well as the New Milford Bulls tackle football. So there's lots of great opportunities to do great things.
Is there an age group, by the way, that I might be able to? I don't know what you're laughing about.
So, and I know Chief Sean just left, but I wanted to thank him. You know, mutual aid is a big part of emergency response, especially up here in southwest Litchfield County. On July 10th, a hiker became heat exhausted 2 miles into the Appalachian Trail in Kent. Our Galersville Fire and Waterwitch Fire provided mutual aid with surrounding towns and Northwell Health. Big, outstanding work by all. Great teamwork. Good news is we did have some of our folks that got some heat exhaustion, but those hikers ended up being okay. Everyone ended up being okay, but a big, huge thank you, and it goes to show how mutual aid works up here in southwest Litchfield County. I want to congratulate the New Milford VFW for achieving All-American status. So a big congratulations to Commander and also his wife, Mayor,
Right.
who is the women's auxiliary president for the VFW. Big congratulations again, as Heidi was here, to our Celebrate 250 committee. Not only did they help us celebrate, but also Daughters and Sons of the American Revolution, our New Milford Police Department, New Milford Fire, Public Works, New Milford Ambulance, CERT Team, right back there, Park and Rec, Women's Club, Veteran Honors Guard, American Legion, right? The VFW, the Garden Club, for all their work, and the Women's Club. Did I say Women's Club? Women's Club during the American 250 festivities. And there's still more festivities to come,
Right.
but it was great to see. Some of our infrastructure projects were just about almost completed with our New Milford sidewalk project that is down on Route 7. Also on Larson Road, we have sidewalks that are going from Route 7, Larson to the high school. They're completing those as well. Road updates, Sunrise Lane. The contractor is continuing with drainage work on Sunrise Lane. And a big, huge thank you to our Parks and Rec Director, Dan Calhoun, our foreman, Blaze Tuz, and our maintainers. Today, they were able to rake and spread 20 yards of certified playground mulch. It's Carlson's Grove's playground. So this year, they've done Young's Field. They've also done Pettibone, and now they've done Carlson's Grove. They're going to continue to do the rest of the playgrounds, but great for them. Want to congratulate our very first Miles Off Main Community Walking Project medalists, Jessica and Annabelle. And this is what we talked about last time, where we have people go to different stores in the downtown. They bring their passport or their book with them. The stamps by each store stamps those. They bring them back and they get a nice medal, and it's great to see that. This is a self-guided way to experience downtown New Milford, one stop at a time. They collect the stamps in their Mile Off Main walking journal, and they work towards the commemorative medal. You can visit newmilfordnow.org to learn more, and you can start your Miles Off Main adventure. And you can pick up a book either here, BD Provisions, or The Hunt, if you'd like. The ice cream crawl is doing very well. Lots of people. Again, now we have 10 participating shops for that. You just have to visit 8 between now and August 31st. Bring your seats in the town hall. Guess what, Brian? Ice cream crawl t-shirt.
So
Awesome.
it increases increases something in our population, not necessarily other people, but the total weight of the town.
They could, but enjoying it.
Oh, of course.
And you have plenty of time.
course.
So it's not like going and getting them on one day. We have great ice cream places.
I guess we do.
We do.
How many places?
Also,
10?
there's 10, but you have to only go to 8.
Oh, that's
Helped you out.
that's good.
Yeah. And speaking of other great things, we have lots of farm stands and farms in New Milford. They have their own farm stands. You can go to newmilfordnow.org and check out all these wonderful farm stands and farms. We also put them out on our social media, one at a time, some of the great farms we have here. We also have our award-winning New Milford Farmers Market on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to noontime. We also have Notify New Milford we talked about before. That's where you can opt in to that service, and it gives you real time, whether it be weather alerts, traffic alerts, where our crews are, any impeding information that you may need for your day to plan your day ahead. And you know, Katie, I'm glad you asked. What's going on in town? Glad you're saying that.
Can
So,
I just ask you say
Yes,
something? I don't know
sure.
how many people here get the Connecticut magazine, CT magazine. It's the magazine Connecticut lives by, according to the ads. However, in there they had all the things that they gave awards to, first,
New
second,
Milford had
third.
lots of winners.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Not just the food, but all kinds of things.
sorts of great
Our
stuff.
shops, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I was quite proud in reading that. I mean, I'm always proud of New Milford, but that really
Best town in the USA.
covered. Yes.
July 16th, Thursday. Ron, you're asking what's going on Thursday? Rock the Block. 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
Nashville Drive, great country band, this Thursday. So make sure to bring your lawn chair. It's going to be outstanding. July 18th, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. right here on the green. Litchfield Artisans Festival.
Yeah.
Over 95 artisans this year, Randy. So that's kind of like the Old Village Fair Days. Because
It
people
is.
ask, you should bring back the Old Village Fair Days. Well, guess what?
have it,
You've got
right.
the Artisans Festival here. So come down and enjoy that. And once you're done with that, Diane, guess where else you could go? Vintage Mania,
Ice cream?
10 a.m., 4 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you like
Yeah.
comics, if you like old autographs, old toys, like when I was a kid, the old toys, right, Brian? The old like Matchbox cars, stuff like that. Great stuff. Also happening on the 18th, I know, Katie, you'll be there.
Yep.
10 a.m. starting off the Abbey, the Irish Road Bowling. And if you
Hey,
don't know what
don't
that
laugh.
is, right? That's teams get together. They have like it looks like a little cannonball.
It certainly does.
And the goal is to get from Jerusalem Hill all the way down through Sunny Valley with the least balls. The money goes to help a most needy family.
That's right.
So a big, huge thank you every year. The Litchfield County Irish American Club puts this on, and it helps. It's helped so many wonderful families. So a big,
And
huge
it's
thing.
a great, you start at the Abbey, they have a hay wagon. I mean,
Yep.
everything about it, if you're just there, you don't necessarily have to bowl. You gotta sign up, which you can't
And
now,
if you
but-
want to come check it out, you can.
Yes, right. You can
Doesn't
just come
cost
and
anything to
watch,
go watch how they do that.
right?
Then on Sunday, Randy, I know you'll like this, car show at Pettibone. New Milford Food Bank's getting proceeds with MVP SOS.
Right.
A lot of cool cars there. Then on July 19th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., every Sunday, Merwinsville Hotel does their Sunday tour, so you get to see, if you haven't been up there, that's a really
Oh,
cool
it is.
spot.
It's great.
And Jeremy Ruman does such a great job, her and the commission. You have to go in, it's a very unique property, has a lot of good artists and things there as well. And then July 23rd, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the library, Lawyers in the Library. These are 20-minute scheduled sessions. They're free, pro bono, free of charge. So if you have a question about the law, you can go to the library. July 25th, starting early in the morning, Park and Rec is doing their 8-mile, 5K, and children's fun run road race right here in the downtown. So it's going to be, they've done that for many, many years now. So big congratulations to them. You still have a chance if you're a runner to register. We have now another car show, Randy, on the 26th at Pettibone. And this is Don Clady's
Oh,
Cruise in New Milford.
yeah.
This is, they call it the big one.
that's a big one.
We have the farmer's market that'll be on August 1st, 9 a.m. to noon. And music on the bandstand, 10 to noon. Dennis Simeon will be playing. And then on August 2nd, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Harrybrook Park. Duck Days, which is formerly the big Jeep thing, will be there. Then on August 1st, 7 p.m. is the Commission on the Arts. First Kincaid concerts on the green, which is always fun. August 7th, noon, right here in Town Hall, is We Are a Purple Heart Town. This is the Purple Heart celebration. We do this every year where we celebrate those military heroes that received the Purple Heart. August 6th, 7th, and 8th at Pettibone is the Lions Club Carnival. It's always fun. And Tom, get this, fireworks this year at the Lions Club, like the old days. Yep. Then on August 8th, Farmers Market, music by Al Bengaster and Friends from 10 a.m. to noon. Out, thank you. Kincaid Concert Series is also on August 8th. Pet Thrift Shop, Paul, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you have a dog and needs some additional stuff, whether it be a bed, a bowl, all sorts of great stuff at a discount price, and the proceeds go to animal welfare. And then on August 9th, and these are roads throughout the town, the Macedonia Gravel Grinder Bike Ride. And this is like a regional thing. There's hundreds of cyclists here, and they go throughout our town and Kent and everything, and they go on our different roadways. That's a pretty amazing thing, and they come right back here to Youngs Field. If you want a chance to see how that is, it's pretty cool. And then Katie, August 13th, will be the 4th Rock the Block, the Pop Rocks.
That's right.
Always a very popular
Yes.
band. 6:30 p.m. That's all I got.
That's all?
That's it.
Okay. Well, moving forward, let's go back to item number 7. There's an A, B, C, and D, and with the council's agreement, I would just like to read them all, and you can aye or not afterwards. Is that okay? Good. All right. 7A, I'd like to move that we accept the following donations. A is the New Milford Police Department has a donation for community outreach events, a speaker that they will use. It's estimated to be worth $100, and they want to thank a retired SRO, which would be Brian Bolero, for this kind of donation. Item 7B, Parks and Rec. They would like us to accept, prove that they can receive the following, which is quite nice. These donations were for their 8-mile and 5K road race, and they are requesting that the following monetary donations be deposited in their recreation revenue account, which is number 104-50500-44709. The following: New Vance Health, 500, All American Waste, 500, Marandola Fuel, 250, Yardscapes, 250, Luminary Diamond Fine Jewelry, 500, Kimberly Clark, 250, Bright Path Childcare, 250, Italia Mia, $25 gift card, Valley Golf, 2 gift cards estimated about $30 apiece, BJ's, a $50 gift card, Costco, $50 gift card, White Horse Pub, one $65 gift card, and A&M Quality Painting, $500. Item 7C, I'd like to move that we approve for the Department of Public Works. They're requesting permission to accept a donation from the bid winner for $300 and deposit that into the account 104-301-00-56001. And item 7D, Mayor's Office requests that we accept the following donations for fireworks. They're requesting the following monetary donations be deposited into the Economic Development Fireworks account, which is 104-60300-53001, and that $1,500 came from American Waste.
Second.
Whoa, we're
Any
all
discussion?
seconding.
All those in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Big, huge
very
thank
nice. Moving on to item 8, these grants, if you agree, we'll read them, move them all together under 8. There's an A, B, C, and D. The first item that we'd like to, Senior Center would like to have us approve a $3,800 award from the Connecticut Community Foundation. The grant will fund after-hours programs for older adults and promote health, wellness, social connection, recreation, making participation accessible for those who work during the day. Transportation and a light dinner will be provided to ensure participants can easily attend and enjoy programs. The funds will be deposited into the account determined by our finance director. Item 8B is the town of New Milford would like to have us accept an award of $32,035.43. It's a grant from the Northwest Regional Workforce Investment Board to support the Summer Youth Employment Program. This program gives the youth a chance to apply for a 6-week summer work experience where they get real, hands-on, not they get real, there shouldn't be a comma there, they get real hands-on on the job exposure right here in New Milford, and they learn important skills like communication, responsibility, and teamwork. Item 8C, the New Milford Youth Agency would like us to move on a $2,000 award from the United Way, Coastal and Western Connecticut. This is an impact philanthropy grant. The funds will be used to support child care scholarships for local families, helping ensure that equitable access to youth programs and services is available. Acceptance of the funding will directly support the well-being of New Milford children by expanding participation opportunities for those with financial need. Funds will be received into an account determined by the Director of Finance. And 8D, we'd like to move that the New Milford Registrar of Voters would like to accept an award of $21,956.85, and this came from the Connecticut Secretary of State to help offset the expenses that are related to the early voting, and that includes labor costs, printing costs, equipment, and supplies. They respectfully request that the following items be placed on the agenda. Well, it is on the agenda, so that we didn't need. Okay, so there you go. Second by Rolando.
Any
Thank you.
discussion?
Just a comment. The grants writer is doing an amazing job.
Yes, Victoria.
Amazing. Victoria is doing fantastic. Very happy about that.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions, any negative? All right, thank you.
Okay, item number 9. This is our tax assessor who's going to be speaking once I tell you what I'm going to say. I would like to make a motion that we approve the following tax abatement requests. 9A, 31 Still River Drive, masonry construction, and 9B, 401 Danbury Road, which is a golf driving range, a new pro shop, and a clubhouse addition.
Second.
Thank you. Brian?
Okay, Brian?
Okay, for the record, Brian Lastra, Town Assessor. The first one we'll talk about is 31 Still River Drive. Received an application from the property owner, Alexandra Piera. This pertains to the construction of a masonry garage storage building. Comprises about 4,375 square feet at 31 Still River Drive. This is the headquarters for UNA Masonry LLC, masonry construction business. The building will be used for the storage and servicing of his construction equipment and for the storage of materials as well. So I looked at the town ordinance, and this project meets the requirements of our ordinance. It's property's located in the restricted industrial zone. It's going to be used for storage, and the cost of the improvements exceeds $50,000. If you looked at my summary, at the present time, the property would pay, based on the assessment of the vacant lot, 40, yes.
There's a lot of false information that's out concerning tax abatements. So first, some people think that if the town was to give a tax abatement, that these people pay no taxes. And oh, by the way, they're paying nothing. So
No.
Brian, isn't it true they would be paying for the next 5 years the same amount of taxes as they're paying right now?
That's correct.
So it's the same.
Yeah, that's the way our ordinance is written. They continue
Right.
to pay what they've been paying. In this case, it was a vacant lot.
And one of the things, whether I was on town council when we were doing these or as mayor, so the public can understand why towns do this, to bring in extra economic development. First, if you don't bring in commercial development, when taxes go up, guess who pays for all of it? We do,
Right,
right?
right.
So here's an example. So when you guys look at this sheet of paper that Brian's going to be talking about, you look at right now, Brian, right? It's $4,900 in taxes per annum,
Right,
right? That's what it is currently.
on the real estate.
And they'll continue to pay $4,900 per year, right? When you look at these abatements, you look at over what they call a 20-year run rate, right? Because we look at, when you're looking at property, you're looking, right, Tom? You're in that business, 20 years is the norm. So if you were to do that right now, if nothing was to happen, the town would collect over 20 years, $98,000. Not bad, right, Randy? Not bad, 98. Now, with the fact that this company now is invested in New Milford and grown, Brian, what is the new tax going to be without an abatement on it?
Yeah, so the new tax would be over $9,000 a year without the abatement.
Now, you're saying to yourself, why is that important? Well, let me tell you why. So, your first 5 years, you're continuing to pay your $4,900. Then you add in, after year 5, what the new amount is going to be, $9,030. So, what does that bring? Now, we already said that over 20 years of doing nothing brings you $98,000. Wow. Doing it this way, Randy, guess what? $225,750 is how much over a 20-year run rate you're now going to get from this business. Right? Now, we also have to think of that, and that's just the incremental difference.
Right,
Then you got to add the $20,650, because for the first 5 years, don't forget, guys, you're still paying the $4,900. So you got to add that in. That's $246,400. And here's the kicker. So Brian, you actually on your sheet talk about the additional motor vehicles,
Right.
excavators, and skid steers
Right.
that now we're taxing this new entity. How much does that come out to be?
So between motor vehicles and equipment, probably around $4,100 a year. So you're actually paying for the abatement just by
Correct.
the personal property that's. And we've had like Save a Tree, we've had other instances where their personal property taxes exceed the tax abatement per year.
And so, with that being said, and, right, as you were just saying, Brian, that starts day one. You're not waiting 5 years.
Right.
That's when they assume it and you put it on the rolls. We are taxing them on those vehicles,
Right.
right?
Yep.
That comes to $82,000 a year. So, when you add all of that up, on the one hand, if nothing happened, over 20 years, $98,000. Now, $328,000. 98, 328. A difference of $230,000. Pretty good return, wouldn't you think, there, Rolando? So again, exactly.
With the improvement they did to that corner, which looked like a dump, it's starting to grow and look beautiful over there.
Yeah.
So again, that's why towns, and we're not the only one, as Brian could tell you, there are other towns fighting for these businesses, like nobody's business, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But just so the public can understand, it's not like they're paying zero taxes.
Right.
They're paying the same as they're paying now for 5 years, but paying for their capital. They're paying for their vehicles and everything else. And again, there's that one. Okay.
Now we have the next one.
Now we got the next, Still River Drive.
Okay, 401 Danbury Road. This was submitted by Jerry Romanello, New Milford Golf LLC, and it pertains to the construction of a new driving range, a new pro shop, expansion and renovations of the existing clubhouse at Candlewood Valley Country Club. Again, this one meets the tax deferral ordinance. It's located in the industrial commercial zone. The property will be used for recreation, and the cost of the improvements exceeds $50,000. The project will be done in 3 phases. Construction of a new 2-story driving range and associated site improvements will be first. Second phase will involve the demolition of the existing golf cart building and the construction of a new pro shop. So the pro shop and the driving range are actually going to be like back to back. Then third, they propose expanding and completely renovating the existing clubhouse. Scope of the work will include the construction of a new main entrance at the front of the building with a grand staircase to the second floor banquet hall. So you can see here, this is typical of golf courses. They're trying to branch out from just golf into being more of a hospitality type of venue. So in terms of the numbers on this one, currently they're assessed at a little over $1.5 million, and they're paying $36,360 a year in real estate taxes. So that's not going away. That's going to stay. The increased assessment attributed to the new construction will be a little over $2 million, $2.171 million, and that would generate, using the current mill rate, a tax of $51,020. So you're looking to abate this new construction. As I said, it's going to be in phases. It's not going to get done in 1 year. So this will occur over a period of time. But again, it shows a real vision, for this type of property for the future. And personal property taxes are going to go along with this type of expansion. I estimate it'd be about $9,500 per year. So you'll get some of that in terms of the abatement. You'll be getting some of that back in new equipment.
So glad that never turned into a shopping center like it was so many years ago, remember?
I do.
They've done a good job with it.
Yeah, they did a
so
great
far,
job.
So I
Yeah.
think it'll be
So again, real quick math.
Right.
But this would be a little bit different because you're layering in these different years. But just as an example, right now they would continue to pay, was it $36,360? Right,
Correct.
Brian?
Right.
That comes over 20 years to $727,200. With the new assessment over a 20-year run, you'd be at $1,747,600. And then over a 20-year run rate on the actual property equipment would be an additional $190,000. But again, layered in because there are going to be different phases to this project. But again, you can see that by doing these things, you're actually seeing growth in the commercial sector, and these revenues will help offset expenditures both now because he's paying the same that he's paying today. He's not paying zero, and it helps as we continue and costs continue to escalate. Also, what is very helpful as well is people aren't taking these projects and pulling the money out of their pocket, right? They're not taking. Maybe some are extremely lucky. Those are unicorns that have that kind of cash. But most everybody else is doing what they call loans, more than likely small business loans. Why, and you're saying, Pete, why are you even bringing this up? Because they have to qualify for loans. And in qualifying for loans, you have to take a look at revenue and you have to take a look at cash flow. These projects, another big reason why I know Tom was on the council when I was on, why we really wanted to go with these abatements, which is just as important as the revenue, is the fact that because you're able to lower for the first 5 years their cost, right? Because it would be tax cost, you can qualify. I know of 2 businesses that would not have been able to open in New Milford because the cash flow wasn't there without the abatement. So this is another reason why you do this, is it allows for those people that are borrowing funds, you have a lower what they call debt to income ratio, DTI, because you're able to offset that. And a lot of the SBA loans or a lot of other loans look at that kind of track record, especially, right, Tom, over the first 5 years or whatever. So again, another plus.
Okay.
Any questions for Brian?
Okay.
And
we
big,
have-
and you know, real quick, Katie, before you make the motion, I really gotta thank Brian, and I gotta thank his whole department there. Homestead Act, revow, it's busy, and then these things as well.
Right.
He's got a 3-man staff.
He's
I
got
mean, you
good
have a couple
people.
of part-timers that are helping with Homestead. But Brian, I know we can't thank you enough for all of your hard work, for sure.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
So we've had a motion.
Yep.
And a
A
second.
motion and a second. Any other discussion for Brian? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Brian. Item number 10. I'd like to, we have 10A, B, and they have to be motions. So I'd like to motion for 10A. This is to approve the creation of a contract administration support specialist who would be funded by the opioid settlement for the amount of $12,000.
We have a second. Tony or Amy, would you guys like to talk a little bit about the committee's recommendation?
I'm going to defer to Ms. Amy.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us tonight. So essentially, the $12,000 would be allocated for this administrative contract position. The employee would be focused on evaluation of some of the initiatives that have been passed so far, as well as some of the administrative duties that are associated with our organization. So helping our health department out in bringing some of our initiatives to fruition, as well as social services.
And Amy, that person would be reporting to the health district.
That's correct.
Where would that person be located?
So predominantly probably remotely, and sometimes they would come into the New Milford office as well.
Any further discussion on this motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Katie, next?
Item 10B, I'd like to move that we approve the appropriation of $7,500 from the opioid settlement for the homeless shelter.
Okay.
Before
All
I
right,
ask
a
any
second.
questions, I just have a question first, because I don't know that everyone in this room or people at home, when you say the homeless shelter, what, can you please define, because the arts, is the one art still here?
Yes.
Is that- yeah, yes, I know you deal with it in various ways, but what do you, please describe.
Let me actually ask Mark, who drafted the proposal, to present, and maybe have Art as a
sure.
backing
Mark,
data analyst.
can you just, just a brief.
Yeah, so
whatever.
it would be, this is for the New Milford Community Shelter that Arthur spoke about. So my name is Mark Eccles. So this would be.
You're talking about where Loaves and Fishes is the Danny Straub Center, that you're talking about?
No.
This would be
This is
the
the
homeless shelter.
temporary
what
shelter
I
that
thought. Okay.
operates over the winter. So the New Milford Community Shelter.
So we use 3 different church locations.
Okay, that's what I was trying
Sorry,
to get you to
yes.
say. Okay, because there is no shelter as a one place. You're talking
Correct,
about the
yes.
churches that you have been using for a long time.
Yes.
Okay, so, how, is that, my question, knowing that you have 3, and it could, who knows, you could have another one, that this is intended to give funds where they're needed there?
Correct.
I'm looking at you, but I know I should
It's
be talking
okay,
to him.
either one. It's to offset their operating costs
That's
of
right, okay.
equipment,
That's-
heating, insurance.
That's, okay,
They don't
so,
pay rent,
just
but
so
the
people
donations
understand,
they
it's
make.
to offset the operational costs,
Exactly.
insurance, and things that are necessary in order for us to have these shelters.
Correct, yes.
Okay, that's all I had to ask.
Mark?
Yeah, I mean, Tony and Arthur talked about it in pretty good length, but this is, obviously offsets about half of their operating costs to provide that temporary shelter in the colder months. I think about in 2022, about 700 people died from hypothermia. They weren't housed. About a little over half of those suffered from either substance use or mental illness. So this would just provide a place in the colder months to, get them, in a safe spot overnight. So, and it's entirely volunteer. So I think this is a
And are
good
we
use of
sure
this
that
funding.
this is a use for opioid settlement funds?
Yes.
Thank you, Amy.
And Art, a big thank you to you, the other Art,
Where is he?
Yeah, happy to do it.
all the volunteers.
He's over there behind you.
Happy to do it.
I served the night last year as well,
I know you
and
did,
it's
yeah.
very much needed for sure.
Yeah. We're always looking for overnight volunteers, by the way.
Yeah.
And the numbers are growing.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions on the motion?
Can you listen more specifically and say for the community, what is it, the community homeless shelter, what is it called?
No, there are 3, the shelters there's 3 of them, but they're the churches, right?
Yeah.
What is the organization, the community homeless shelter?
The
Yeah,
New
it's
Milford
called
Community Shelter, yeah.
Yes,
Would that be the,
Is that what you call them officially? Okay,
yeah,
Community homeless shelter.
yeah, that should be on here. Okay.
it's a 501c3.
Yep.
that was your motion, you can't remember that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item 10D is, I don't know that there's a motion for this, but I guess there is. I'd like to move that the opioid settlement committee is able or should or can define the eligibility for redemption housing voucher program.
So,
Is there a second?
So my question, you're gonna define it, means you're gonna write up something?
well, actually, yes, we do have a proposal here. I do want to give a little framework, a little context here, if I may. Tonight, I'm asking the council to clarify, really, what the definition of a New Milford nexus really means. In our mind, when we presented the proposal some months ago, we thought that it meant a meaningful and a verifiable connection to our community, not simply the possession of a current New Milford residential address. This issue arose after a candidate was denied the opportunity to be screened because they did not have a New Milford residence. While residency requirements may be appropriate for traditional taxpayer-funded municipal benefits, certainly does have a place and it makes a lot of sense. This particular program is uniquely different in 3 ways, and probably more than that, but in 3 ways it's uniquely different. I've brought an OG in this space, Miss Allison Fulton, to speak to one of those. But the first I want to call out, as Miss Allison comes to the stand here, is that this program is not funded by New Milford taxpayers. I think that's an important footnote. This program is funded through the opioid litigation settlement proceeds, not New Milford property taxes or the town's general operating budget. Connecticut requires these proceeds to support substance use disorder abatement, including prevention, treatment, recovery, harm reduction, and related services. These funds exist because individuals, families, and communities suffered devastating losses during the opioid epidemic, which is still ongoing. It has gotten better, but it's still ongoing. Frankly, as you know, families like mine did not lose our loved ones according to a municipal boundary. The opioid crisis did not stop at the New Milford border, and neither does the treatment and recovery network serving the community. Connecticut has also recognized that housing is a legitimate opioid abatement strategy. In 2025, the state approved $58.6 million in housing initiatives for people experiencing opioid use disorder and homelessness. Housing is not separate from recovery. In fact, it's the foundation in which recovery is built on. If you don't know where you're going to wake up, you cannot possibly build a strong recovery plan. It's almost impossible. Okay? Now, that's point 1. Point 2, again, I'm going to defer to Miss Allison, who might be able to give a little bit more context, but really it's about the need.
Tony, I have a question for you. Hi, Allison.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand what you're saying about, the money is there and all, but every town is available, it's available money for them as well. So you're asking to have, instead of just working on people in New Milford and helping them out, you're saying you'd like to expand that to anyone?
Well, yes, but no. Let us finish the sort of the framing, and then maybe I can answer your question with more clarity. The answer is yes, but no, and I'll clarify that in just a second.
Okay.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Allison Fulton. I'm with the Western Connecticut Coalition. I'm a part of this wonderful council, and I've been in this field since 2001, so I've been kind of around since the genesis of the opioid epidemic, as I like to call it. So I've kind of seen things. I've seen things come and go, and so we were having this conversation during one of our most recent meetings about, what about not servicing people who are actual residents of the community? And so I said, if an ambulance pulled in because they were called, and 911 was called, they would not serve the person because they are not a resident of New Milford, I don't think. And then I also just kind of was thinking in my head, well, I've been looking at the data from the Office of Chief Medical Examiner for a long time, and let's just take a look and see how many people who live and pay taxes in New Milford have passed away in another community, and how many people from other communities have passed away with overdoses here in New Milford. So I just looked 2020 to 2025, and I included both 2020 and 2025. So all the way through those 5 years, or 6 years actually, there were 23 overdose deaths that occurred in New Milford. I'm just gonna read my notes between those years. 26% of them involved people who were not New Milford residents. Also, between those same years, 20 and 2025, 25% of overdose deaths of New Milford residents occurred somewhere other than New Milford. So I kind of went through those towns. I'd be happy to tell you what they were. So services are rendered in other places. This isn't, as Tony mentioned before, this is something that does not have borders, right? This is a devastating situation for all communities. And yes, every single 169 town in the state of Connecticut did get settlement dollars. And maybe there was a middle ground, maybe there's a plan B for saying, hey, we're servicing somebody from your community, just so you know, maybe you could help us balance it out. I don't know. I just think just flat out saying no is really not a great idea. It's really going to cost lives.
Thank you, Ms. Allison. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Yeah. Obviously, you wouldn't turn away just as you use the ambulance thing, but this is a housing voucher. and I have some questions for Tony, you know, where's the housing? What are you talking about? And how long do they stay? And then what happens? Who supports them when they're here? I mean, those are just a few questions that I have. I don't want to be the one that's asking all the questions, but, so I understand what you're saying, Alice, and it's certainly, it's something that needs to be addressed, but the epidemic itself is the big McGilla in the room. This is a housing voucher program, and that's what I'd like to have you explain to us. One of you, all of you.
I just also feel that something like this, a program like this, is really worth testing out before we just flat out say, hey, this is not a good idea. Too many dollars might be allocated to people who don't live here, never lived here, whatever. We know one instance where somebody was actually homeless. They don't live anywhere.
Well, I have the data.
Of course.
Okay.
I have the
But
data.
what's the voucher? This is what I'm trying to
So the
say.
voucher is to ensure that they,
Where's the house first? Let's talk about
anywhere
where.
that they select. It's like Section 8. This voucher can be used at any provider across the state of Connecticut or even beyond, as it was approved, that provides recovery services that will prevent them from being found dead in the street of New Milford.
Okay, I get that. But my point is, you're talking about that somebody, doesn't matter where they're from, but this is now going to be a voucher that they can go into whatever Section 8 availability we have in New Milford and stay there for
Anywhere.
1 month. And and to be clear, I'm using
anywhere, right,
I'm
anywhere.
using Section 8 as an example in that they can take this voucher and utilize it anywhere as
Okay.
being told that they have to use it
Okay,
at this
so
place.
you just answered one other question, 1 month. And who oversees this so that that person, it's January 1st, let's say, when it gets to be February 1st, who assures that that person is still there? You know, are they, when they leave, when they don't? How does that all get taken care of?
So we rely, you know, the start of and end of this program is basically getting that applicant through the candidacy process, the screening process, and then ultimately a check is delivered to the resource provider directly. That at that point, you know, this service is complete. That's done. They have 1 month to work with the recovery provider, Silver Home, and you know, and the hope is that 30 days, which generally a lot of times is actually matched by the provider themselves to extend it to 60 days. But at that period of time, that allows them to get themselves, you know, a job, you know, their documentation, their license, all those things that they need to sort of put the backpack of life back on and get themselves back going. Remember now, this is on the heels of, you know, the crisis intervention moment, the detox, the inpatient setting, and then this kicks in.
I understand, Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
We've all heard you tell us, and I think we're all intelligent enough to understand. But
sure.
my point is, I don't know how much Section 8 housing do we have in New Milford?
It's not Section 8, ma'am. I'm sorry. I use that just as an analogy.
Well, what is it?
It is a sober housing voucher program that
Okay,
allows...
sober houses we have, I understand that. Okay,
Yes,
that's a
ma'am.
little different, because Section 8 is also used by people who are not
Again,
addicted.
Miss Francis,
Okay,
I
gotcha.
was... sorry.
Okay, so now the person's there, and how is the second month, you said it could be funded by the provider? Who's that?
The recovery home that they went to, a lot of times will match our
Okay.
voucher with
Okay.
their own voucher in a you know, gesture of good faith to kind of get these people going.
I'm
It's
not trying
different.
to knock what you're doing.
Yes, ma'am.
But there's a lot of people in this town who ask me and some other people that, because we hear you and we're the ones here to ask you these questions.
Sure.
Is that we have some issues in our own town with people, unfortunately, and it's everywhere, and we try to do the best we can. And I just wonder what putting out this redemption voucher, is that going to bring somebody, new people or whatever, to take a place that maybe somebody the next day who's lived here forever?
Very legitimate concern. And we have data so far that we could talk about with how the program's going so far. So far, we've had 4 applicants, 4 candidates. 75% of the candidates have been from New Milford. One of those 3 is couch surfing. So that technically is not really a nexus to New Milford as it is previously defined, right? That person who's couch surfing actually does not have a residence, you know, an actual residence here in New Milford, right? They're couch surfing by a host family from, you know, that's just kind-hearted enough to let them stay somewhere until they can get into a place, right? The other ones, one went to New Milford High School, but doesn't live here anymore. But that was considered a nexus, right? So we're just trying to clarify what that nexus is. What we may be able to do, in the spirit of what Ms. Fulton said, was maybe we play this out. Maybe we put a reserve in there that says, up to 25% can be used outside of, for people non-residents or something like that.
There's no
But
amount
let me just
here.
also just
Tony, there's no amount. You're talking about 70. This is to define, you're supposed to be defining eligibility for redemption housing voucher programs.
Yes,
Now,
and
so
I've got
I
that.
expected you to say, you want us to say that's okay to do it, but then you're gonna bring it back? Because
No.
you expect, you're gonna define it for us and you want us to vote on it now?
Yes, ma'am. And I have one more consideration for this debate, and that is this notion that if we say no to people who don't hold a residence, an address, the notion that we save money. It's actually costing us a lot more money.
I don't think anybody's talked about the money part.
But I just want to make
Tony.
sure that I'm on record to call out that the national numbers show that just an overdose call alone, without an inpatient or anything like that, a simple, run-of-the-mill call is about $2,000. It's about $10,000 for an inpatient encounter, and costs just escalate when you have this sort of repeat.
Tony,
thing.
I understand those costs, but you're talking about a voucher for somebody
Yeah.
to have a place to stay. We would never turn somebody away, like you said, if the ambulance picked them up, of course. So that's
I'm
not.
trying to contrast the difference between a
Okay,
$1,000 voucher.
but you're
and-
using money in a way that, what I want to know is, how much of your opioid settlement do you intend to use for this?
Well,
Because
that was-
that's what talk. I don't want to hear about what the ambulance and the hospital costs, because New Milford would do that
Well,
anyway.
we should want to hear that part, but if we're looking
But you
exclusively.
can't stop, Tony, you can't stop that from happening. That's how you're gonna find out about the person who needs the voucher. That's gonna happen no matter what. You're not gonna reimburse.
That's not necessarily the case.
Okay.
It could be.
Okay, you
It
wanna
could
split
be.
hairs. Just please answer the first, just keep going. Tell us how this is gonna work.
Okay, so, the requested clarification is this. I respectfully ask the town to adopt the following interpretation. For purpose of the Redemption Housing Hope Fund, a New Milford nexus means a documented and meaningful connection to the New Milford community through the current or previous residence, family, education, employment, temporary housing, homelessness, host family within the community, connection to treatment, healthcare, recovery services, peer support participation, nonprofit involvement, or referral from a recognized New Milford area provider, agency, or community partner, such as the Community Navigator, and those types of programs. An applicant shall not be denied screening solely because the applicant lacks a current permanent New Milford residential address. This does not eliminate vetting. Applicants still get screened for financial need and those sorts of things, and for the appropriateness of the recovery housing and placement readiness. It simply ensures that the definition reflects the realities of the homelessness and recovery, and remains faithful to the purpose and settlement of the funds entrusted to our town. So that is basically the way that I think that, at least I was thinking about what nexus to New Milford means. For example, Mark works with Lantana, and Mark, you brought up a use case. Maybe you can explain that use case.
This isn't pertinent, but.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we have 2 treatment facilities in New Milford. We have several sober homes. So a lot of times those clients don't have a physical address at all, right? But they're being housed in some capacity, or at least cared for, in New Milford, and they would, they need to, once they complete their treatment, find housing. So that was a situation that came up. Do they qualify for a nexus, right? Or do they qualify for this
There are people in the
funding?
sober homes, they pay to be there. They either have an insurance or how they're paying for it, if they have it. There's no free ride here. I know people who are in these homes, they pay for it.
Right, that's what the
Yeah.
voucher's for.
This helps them get in
Okay.
that first month.
The first month in one of
Or-
those
or
sober
maybe-
homes is a lot more than what you said about, you meant
Well,
to.
ma'am, we've got 4.
You didn't mean to say the Section 8, right?
No, ma'am, I was using that just as an example of how they can take this voucher and go anywhere, because there's 2 different sorts of maybe that was a bad analogy, but I was just trying to demonstrate that it was an at-will voucher where they could bring anywhere that they wanted, as opposed to being forced to a basic needs establishment, which is oftentimes not good.
Thank you, Tony. I have a question for Allison, because you represent the can. What other towns are doing this in your can?
I'm sorry.
NM can he's talking
What other
about.
towns are doing this in your can?
In our region, the 43-town region that I am currently in, no one is doing this. You know
So we're
that.
the only one.
No, there's another group that has a consortium of like 14 towns all pooling their funds. They are not running a program like this. No. They're doing a lot of other wonderful things, but not this one. New Milford's
So as you
council and the
just
things
said,
you've done are very
this-
unique.
This transcends borders. So
I
if we're the only one,
yeah.
right, that's doing this, and we don't have a marker for how we treat using these, and they're not going to be funds forever.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Then what happens?
So how do we do that if we're the only town?
Well, yes, you're right. I mean, it would be wonderful if another community could do it and you could have reciprocal, agreements. I'm kind of looking at this like, this issue is one of those ones where it seems to me in Western Connecticut, a lot of towns, and you used the term mutual aid before or somebody, I mean, this is what people have been doing for one another, kind of help. And to just abate the whole situation. I mean, for 20 some odd years, Newtown Parent Connection has been servicing mostly people not from Newtown with Newtown dollars and Newtown Foundation dollars. So, it's one of those, this topic I think is just a little different than every other topic.
And I would agree with you if New Milford was the only one receiving opioid funds. Every municipality has received funds.
Yeah.
We're one of the smaller towns in your can.
Yes.
So we get less money
Yes, you do.
than the other towns do. So,
I have a question.
I'm sorry.
How about going it about it another way? Because Tony, you have connections with like a lot of the people on our surrounding town. How about like trying to get everybody on board to try to do something like this, rather than, because what happens is, and I don't think anybody at this table is gonna, think otherwise. We all want to help, but you see where there's gonna be people that are gonna be thinking, because everybody uses, the brain is gonna think that there's gonna be other towns that are just gonna say, okay, New Milford's doing it, we'll find a way to get you to New Milford, to get you to help, not, to get you to help.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get people asking, like, we're gonna get a lot of people now coming in here for these vouchers.
And I'd not argue, I agree. I understand the concern. I really do. Like, we want to make sure we got money for our residents, right? And I think there's ways to do that.
What money do you
what I
think
might
you're
suggest,
gonna
if I
use
can,
for this? You haven't given us an amount. What are you thinking when you say this? You are defining. What's the kitty? What's in the piggy bank for this?
So this was already approved for a set amount. So
what happens?
If I can dig that number up. It's already been approved. So I think it was 75,000 was the amount that we approved several months ago. Yeah. And I'm not asking that we open that up to the entire world, but just really to get back to your point, I agree with you, Mr. Castro. But this is very much the same as when we were shipping our homeless folks down to Danbury.
Yeah.
And that happened for many years, right? So this is a reciprocation in theory, in concept, in spirit of a similar kind of thing. I have made routes, as you know, I know Mayor Al's in Danbury and those folks down there. I don't influence that. I'm not the chair of their committee. I can certainly host those. And maybe that we can band together in that way. And that's an obvious and a great next step. What I'm really asking for here is that where there is a connection, when Mark is working with somebody and he's got them ready to like take that next step, that should serve as a connection. He's a New Milford partner, right? Same thing with our foundation. The same thing with the Phoenix House. Miss Amy. Any of these people, like, just because they don't have the traditional, it's almost like a catch-22, right? Like, you can't get New Milford help because you don't live in New Milford, but you can't live in New Milford because it's this weird catch-22.
Tony, there are people in our 3+ sober houses here who don't live in New Milford, didn't live in New Milford until they went wherever they did and for how long and needed a place to stay sober.
And I vouched many of those people.
But when you mention that people, that sending people to Danbury. Danbury is a city. They have a lot more facility availability than we do, and we're not going to turn into a city overnight, for sure. I think that you need to, I'm just going to say this for myself, I would like to see more. I'd like to know how you're going to apportion this. Is there going to be anything, as the mayor said, that prevents people just from being sent here? You know, that happens all the time. Just as we would send someone to Danbury if there was an open place, such as at ARC, you know, we paid for some of that, but you can't expect the people of New Milford to view this, and I know you want, and we all want people to understand this is a big problem, and it doesn't harm you today, and tomorrow it might. So I get that, but I think, as I've told you, people have wanted to know about all this. This was out here, and I said, I don't really know what the whole point's going to be about this voucher. When somebody leaves the 28 days and they come down here and they have the insurance or whatever to stay, they stay as long as the money will last. You have $75,000, and of course you're continuing to receive opioid settlements, right? So I just think it's something. It isn't a matter of saying don't do it, but I think there's other issues in this same cauldron of, unfortunately, that's there, and maybe the part about sending people here is going to be a little bit stuck in the craw. Nobody's really ever said anything about the money you've spent on other ways. This is just a little bit closer to home, that's all.
I think we did talk about, we've all talked about the exact same things you're bringing up right now.
Yeah.
And I think we did talk about having, excuse me, just like one spot always, like there would never be no spots open for vouchers for people who actually are residents of New Milford. And, you know, some way of creating that system where when they got vetted, okay, we've got 3 open spots, and, you know, we know that nobody from New Milford would be turned away. There was a way to figure that out. I think that's what we were kind of working on.
Well,
If nothing else, maybe for tonight, if nothing else, we can land on what the definition should be until we can come back with, maybe a wider definition of it. You know, my proposal is that, you know, I think the ultimate goal here is to make this program accessible. And, you know, accessible to those who need it, as it is defined, you know, as this thing was intended to be, in the spirit of this fund, which is to help people who need these supports, because these are critical life-saving matters. And if you, I think I need to walk away tonight understanding what your view, the town council's
My view is 169 towns are receiving the money, just as we are. And as the mayor said, we're certainly not any metropolis. We're not getting more than, there's people getting more than, and Allison pointed out, Newtown, they're spending their own money now. Why? Maybe they don't have people like you who are interested in getting into the opioid and doing something with that funds. But I just don't, I think I'd like, personally, I'd like you to give some thought on this and come back and have something written to show us, and I think the town has to be able to think about it.
I do have something written. I'm willing to provide.
No,
that
I want you not. We're not going to decide. I don't want to decide on this tonight.
Okay, I understand that.
Maybe, Tony, we can submit the portion that you've written to the council tonight. They can review and we can assess that at another meeting.
And Amy, what I'd like to see if we could do is talk for the health district, which is New Milford, it's Washington, it's Oxford,
Southbury.
It's Southbury and Woodbury.
There you go.
Let's see if we can get all of us together, and maybe we can all appropriate in our area a certain set amount that creates the kitty that Tony's talking about. Yeah. I will call Mayor Alves tomorrow and see if there's the ability with Danbury, maybe Steve Dunn in Brookfield,
right.
And maybe we can create in that segment of the area that we could each appropriate a certain amount of dollars, right? A small amount, so that we start exactly what you're talking about in a kind of controlled environment to see how that works for everybody, but then get everybody buying into it.
And that way maybe other towns would see what you have done and what you're thinking of, and understand that, you know, I think New Milford's done a lot for people, and of course you have been at the forefront. I know Allison's always on it. That you just show somebody, like one of the towns you just mentioned, Southbury is an example. I mean, there's no town that's free of having these problems. So if they maybe don't have the time, maybe Newtown doesn't have a bunch of people to look at. You've done part of this work. I think that's a good idea. Talk about it, and that way, no one town or 10 towns is going to feel a burden because the other 159 or whatever aren't doing anything.
I like what you just suggested.
Yeah, I just want to point out one thing. I mean,
Talk about
you guys, I've heard and seen over the years that many people that, let's say, from New Milford, whose addiction is here, can't really remain here because there's too many reminders, there's too many friends that drag them back in. So we may be, some of the people that may need to be put up may need to be shipped out of town so they're in an environment that is not familiar. So that opens up a whole can of worms with this on how we need to be able to help and get funds from other towns. If there's a sober house in Southbury and we're sending somebody there, and there's somebody from Southbury who wants to come up here, we have to have some sort of collaboration with these other towns. If we're the only people that have had the sense and the compassion to start a committee like you folks, we have to get up on the hill and start saying something and maybe start to embarrass some of these other towns into participating with us, because people are coming into Milford because there's a lot of resources here, right? There's a lot of places people can camp behind Big Y. There's lots of farms here. You can go disappear here very easily.
It's not funding, though. I mean,
right.
It's not our town
Right.
funding, but just, you know, the funding is there for all the towns. So I think in the course of talking, as the mayor said, to talk with the towns that we are abutting with
Yeah.
and say, have you considered this? And they might say, well, we don't know how to start. Well,
We have the committee. We've had the
I
ideas.
don't want to mislead you. Every community in the state of Connecticut is doing something with those dollars, but I thought your question was, are they doing a voucher program
No,
for
that's-
sober
I know that
housing?
they use
And
them.
as
I
far
hope
as I
they
know,
use
in
them.
our region, which is the 43 towns of Western Connecticut, nobody's
Nobody
doing that.
is.
Yeah, just you guys. But, you know, yeah, we've kind of talked about doing collaborative work with other communities along the way, and I think it's a great idea. I think the better we can, you know.
does
pull
Danbury
things
have
together.
a voucher program?
For this sober housing? No, not that I know of. Do you know that? No.
But they have a lot of people that are willing to help, and Tony knows, he has a lot of connections in Denver.
Yeah.
And like Mayor Pete just said, you know, maybe we can start there. We can start reaching out to our neighboring towns. And let's go on this together.
Question. I know from personal experience that when somebody is ready to leave their treatment, and they do need to go somewhere, the treatment center usually finds someplace for them.
Find, yes.
No, I understand
Whether
what
they
you're gonna
can
say after.
fund it
Right.
is a different
So
story.
are the centers around us that where people go, and do they know about this, what you're thinking of doing? And do they know that there's so few towns that are even considering doing something like this with the vouchers?
The answer again is yes and no. You know, none of this is a black or white kind of response, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to evade your question. You know, here's the bottom line. We are the spearhead of this thing. We are leading this whole thing. And with that becomes great responsibility, and sometimes it's answering these tough questions, and sometimes it's, you know, means guys like me have to take no for an answer, and I understand that.
But you're also the perfect person, Tony, to talk to another town about it. And
Yeah, I'm telling you, gang, that if we're gonna wait for everybody to join us, we're gonna see more losses.
I don't think for anybody, I just,
Yeah.
Right.
I understand.
It's defined, listen, you gave us, there's 5 words here that we're supposed to define. If you come back with a full definition of what you're looking for, as well as that description, when we have other members too, we're also missing other council members.
A lot of members.
and
Right.
other towns
Right.
that have people handling things like this might have some good ideas too.
I agree. I agree with Tony. Thank you.
Basically.
Thank you.
Maybe it does need a little more work, but I guess the bottom line is after they leave the sober house, we know that's kind of a dangerous period. and that's when a lot of deaths occur. So whether they're New Milford residents or they have some connection to New Milford, it's still the loss of a life. And I think this is a really good idea to support it. And in my opinion, they probably would need more than a month, but at least it's a start.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, nobody, I don't think, speaking for myself, I'm not against this. I just want some more clarity to this, and let's flesh this definition out. And quite frankly, I wouldn't promote it to everybody in the world, because if every other town around here knows, they'll be shipping them here, you know,
Well,
there'll be bus
that's
tickets.
the
We
process,
understand
the
that
base,
concern,
right
we
there.
really do. We're trying to find that, and really what we're trying to say is like, if they have an established, like what Mark's doing, what Austin Gold is doing, these people, they're not from New Milford, but they found their way here, right? And what do you do with that, right? It's not like, grabbing a megaphone or putting something in the paper. Come to New Milford, we'll take care of you. It's like when we uncover somebody in need and we understand that there's this boundary and stuff. It's complicated stuff.
Well,
And
that's
so
why
I
other
understand
towns should
the
be
mission.
involved. Like the mayor said, they get together and talk.
Yeah, I'm telling you though that, and to be clear, New Milford is one of the larger award winners of this across the state. We did receive a lot more money than a lot of other towns, not the most of all the state, but we are, in terms of what we receive, when I compare that, and I talk with my peers across the state, a lot of towns, some even bigger than ours, didn't even get as much as us. And I was actually shocked. Really shocked. So let us take this back. It sounds to me, to answer the question that I presented before, for now, the definition of the nexus to New Milford is you must possess a New Milford address in order to qualify for
We're
the
not
voucher
saying
program.
that. We're not saying that at all, Tony.
Not at all.
No,
I'm just
we're
because
not
we got
saying
people in the
that.
queue.
Just don't say that because it's not anything that anybody here said.
I'm sorry, Miss Francis. Then help me understand where we are right now
We
until we can come
don't
back.
want people sent here because we're the only place.
I understand. I
Okay?
understand.
There's only.
So as of
I
right now,
want people to not be addicted, to not have these problems. We all do. But by having vouchers and sending somebody from some other town in the state here, it's not gonna solve it. So let's work, I think, what I'd like you to do, and you have all this information, and Amy and Allison, that sit down and figure out how to let the people who abut us, and then those people would look at the town next to them. Because we can't take everybody,
yes,
right?
ma'am.
So there you go. And it could turn out that way, Tony, because if it's all as great and works as well, once you start it, that's what'll happen. And that's why people ask me, what is this all about? Why this voucher? See, when you put that in there, that makes people ask, voucher for where are they going?
They're
And
going to a certified recovery center.
And
And can I just, it's not like it's only a New Milford provider that they would have to go to. So in your example, if it's a New Milford resident that wanted to go to a sober house, there's no sober living in Southbury that I know of, but they wanted to go somewhere else in the state, they could do that with this fund.
Yes,
We're not bringing people into New Milford to
right,
go.
but
it's not
your
like the opera
voucher
funding.
wouldn't go to another
Yes.
town.
Yes, it would.
It would go to that provider.
Yes, it
Well,
would.
then,
Will to the provider,
but
okay,
on
then you
behalf-
have
come
to
and get it
have
here.
interaction with the town that let's say the person lives in Brookfield. So you have to have some sort of interaction with someone so that this voucher is used. And that's why you go back to what the mayor said and have a conversation with the people around us, that's all. Just that we can't do it right now, doesn't mean we're not gonna do it, but I think we owe the people who live here
Well,
an opportunity to understand it.
and with all due respect, ma'am, we owe the people who are looking for this help a definition of what nexus to New Milford is. And
I understand that.
And so tonight, I think, in lieu of, any other, it sounds to me like we're going to take traditional practices.
I think, Tony, and I'm speaking for the council, they can interject right now, but I think what you may think is you're talking about somebody couch surfing, right? If you could quantify that they have been here for, say, a quarter, 4 months, 3 months, 4 months, they've been here. They've had some stuff here, not somebody that's been here for a week. It was moved here for a week, now it's couch surfing, and now I think there has to be some sort of a timeline as we kind of work this stuff out. I personally am an optimist. I think by you bringing us this challenge, which you guys have come up with some very innovative solutions, and we can see by the data how this is successful, how now this can lead to us now talking through the region, like asking,
Right.
now Amy, for us as the health district is one part, but then our other towns that are next to us, whether it be Brookfield, Danbury, Sherman, seeing if they want to partner up a little bit, take a little bit of their money, putting it into a pool that now we have the resource for what you're talking about, regional, which I think is going to be much more advantageous to
That
everyone.
would be great if we
Yeah,
go
so
regional.
let's say Sherman, small, right? Maybe they have 3 vouchers. That's what they could handle. And then you go to Washington or Warren or whatever. And that way, you're still in the area, if this person's like to be in the area, but we don't overwhelm. And there is only so many places that they can go here.
And yeah.
But I mean,
Quite frankly, if they want to go to another town, they use the voucher for the month for the other town.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, from my experience, a lot of people cannot live where they were addicted. There's too many reminders, there's too many friends, there's too many people dragging them back into that lifestyle.
So it's not a no, Tony. It's
Yeah.
just that this is a complex thing, and there's a town full of people who I hope are going to watch this and
My
hear.
mind keeps going to, what's the referral process? How are people gonna hear about this? Like, that's where I'm going, where, you know.
And I also say, even at the
You
regional
mean people
level.
who need it, you're saying, Allison?
I'm just saying, I mean, I know that somebody was involved with this one person that has come looking for a voucher that didn't get it because they didn't live here, right? That's the way I understand it.
Didn't know that.
So what I'm wondering is, like, you know, where are these people coming from that are finding out about the voucher?
Well, that's why I asked about the treatment centers, because I do know this from
The
a
treatment
friend.
centers don't know about this program.
No,
so-
but they do sometimes try to find
Yeah,
a place to
sometimes they
send.
will, but
Who
when I-
denied you?
The other curveball here is
didn't know
that even with the regional thing, right? We're still gonna have this border problem, right? Like, cause someone's gonna be like Sherman's gonna say, yeah, we'll come in with you, and then they're gonna get somebody who's not a resident that falls in under the, like, police are gonna come on the scene. Where are you from? You know, how can we help you? And they're
No, I don't see that myself.
Tony, I would,
Two
but-
people who passed away here in New Milford who were from
Well,
Wingdale, New York, and Brooklyn, New York.
right, but
So, like,
that's because they, like you talked about the ambulance situation, I think that's fine. But you mentioned that somebody was denied a place to stay here. Who denied them?
well, and and I
Who
don't want to.
denied
I don't know. I don't know names and stuff like that. All I know is
No,
that
I don't want to know the name.
I think it was a
but who's-
process problem.
Who sent, but who was doing the processing? That's what I want to know. The
I think
center
it was. I think it was the vetting process. They kind of.
vetting by whom?
New Milford Social Services, I think, is the one who vets the financial piece of this, and I think when they
do
had
live
a
in New Milford or
call.
not?
I think it was not within their purview to be able to review people who don't live in
Okay,
the town.
that's more
because
like
they're
it.
a
I
New
just was
Milford
going to say that,
resource.
okay, all right, so.
And I don't mean to disparage at all the folks that are part of it, because they're just, adopting, logical previous practices and stuff. And that's why we're here, is
Well,
because
there's
we want.
another avenue of the reason that we really ought to, get into this. Yeah,
So I think,
yeah. Just don't worry about a motion. I did not make a motion. Oh, I did, that's right, yes. You forced me into it, and Rolando seconded it. It isn't to say no, Tony, so please don't think that. But you have to understand that just the few people that are here tonight, even if all 11 of us were here, this is, what you're saying is, well, we want to have people come into town and,
Actually,
and you know what I'm saying? And it isn't that we don't want to help them, but you and I both know that not every person who comes for help ends up wanting that help, and then who knows? So there's only so many beds, there's only so many places, and we'd like to just get a better sense. And as Amy said, I think, and the mayor, that it would be great to have a conversation with another town. As much as I'd like to hear about the town that does it, there must be somebody else in our state. I'd like to hear about why somebody like our town, or even bigger, doesn't do it.
Do you want to table or withdraw your motion?
We're still discussing. So, I'd like to table my motion, or withdraw my motion, because there's no more tonight after we're done. And I would like to have you define things for us, not just us in this room, the town, and the people who would need this help. This isn't defined enough to I don't know who said no. If it was that, then there must be a rule or regulation for that, to cause that. And that's something to think about as well.
Well, there's a prerequisite to qualify for these programs
Had to live in
of
Milford.
a residency, and that's what we're here trying to redefine.
And that definition applies through what process?
Again, the New Milford
If they
Social
came to
Services
you,
benefit
if they came to you and they didn't necessarily.
They go, what happens is when they apply for the voucher, social services.
Oh, a
vets-
voucher, like I know
Right.
what kind of vouchers. Okay,
So they
gotcha.
vetted in that particular case, that person was not from New Milford.
So the reason being, New Milford would have had to fund the voucher for a person who wasn't from New Milford. Is that the reason?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay, so it had nothing to do with where the person came from. It had to do where the money was going to come from. Which
No,
would have been New Milford.
it was a denial because they did not have a New Milford residence.
Yes, because they were gonna get money. They were gonna get a voucher, not money. They were gonna get a voucher to go someplace. And that is equivalent to money, right? If I walked in the room and said, here's $250 for this guy, what would they say? They wouldn't turn him away then. They'd take the money and give him a voucher.
So Tony, I'll give you a call tomorrow
Yes, sir.
and we'll,
I'm happy to
Figure out
connect
all
with
that stuff.
whoever you think we
Yep.
should connect with and do that due diligence. We do have a definition drafted. I'll send that along. I should have sent that in advance, so my apologies there. And thanks for making us consider this even further. This is important enough for us to keep going.
Yeah, and I think it could go further. I think
and then
it could
Amy,
be
we'll
better.
work together about the district too, so we have even more opportunity
Right.
through the district.
Amy, do you have any incident or, any going across the borders and talking to people that you know of towns who consider or do something like this?
So, no, I think there's a lot of data that we can collect. There's a lot of information on the DPH website about how other towns have allocated this funding. I think the towns that Mayor Bass mentioned are a great place to start. So I'm definitely happy to start that process.
Good, thank you. And thanks, Allison. Jesus.
And we'll put it on the next agenda.
God.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much
Appreciate
for
it.
spending the time to explain
Thank
it
you.
all.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
In a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight.